discussing about the HANA administration part. So HANA installation using the HDB LCM tools, we have done the HANA installation. As soon as you done the HANA installation, so we will get the HANA core process, 7 core process, index server, name server, pre-processor, compile server. So this HANA core process, we will get it out, right? So as soon as we done the installation of the HANA database here. So apart from that, so we will get the two databases. One is the system DB, second one is the tenant databases you will get from HANA, right? This is a HANA 2.0 installation. That's why you will get the two databases here. One is the system DB, second one is the tenant databases here. Tenant databases here. So HANA, so using the HANA Studio, we can perform the administration activities of the HANA database. Administration activities of the HANA database, we can perform it here. So now let's see like which HANA system is available. So let's log in. And see are there any HANA system is up and running or not. So nothing, it's 0. So I think someone installed the HDB. So for the, you can use this this HDB database. So now you see this is the 0% used, right? When you start the HANA database, what will happen? The memory, the data will be loaded to the main memory here, right? So see, now you are starting HDB 00. So everybody permanently please add this database. Permanently add the database here. The host name is common. The host name is common here. Then instance number 00. So it's a very simple naming convention, HDB, right? System user. Then say password. So same root password, you can use it. Then you can see you added the system DB you added here. So here system should be started successfully. It's not started, but so the tenant I added somehow because some process are started. Tenant will system DB is got started here, right? So why? Because system DB the main is the system DB the main is like what is the main process in the system DB? Name server. Okay. What is the main process in the system DB? Tenant DB.
Index server.
So you started the index server. Index server is the main process in the tenant database. So name server is the main process in the tenant data, sorry, system DB. Okay. So that is the difference. So now you connected to the HANA Studio. See here in the HANA Studio. So you added the databases, system DB and tenant databases you added. So system DB and tenant databases you added. If you double click on it, it will open the administration page. So you have the in the overview section, landscape section, right? See here, CPU utilization is very high here, right? So just you keep on monitoring here, then the CPU utilization will be back to the normal status here. It will be back to the normal status here, right? So then landscape tab. In the landscape tab, you see the information about the process, HANA process here, right? So here you can see the name server, all the process when it was restarted, right? What is the status? So whether active or not, what is the process ID? Then what is the master in the here master tenant DB, the master is the index server and system DB name server is the master. Total 7 process. In that 5 will be in the system DB. Remaining 2 will be in the index server. Index access engine will be in the tenant database, each tenant. Then here you can see the process ID. Here you can see the CPU utilizations, memory utilizations. So all the information you can see it here. So CPU utilization is very high. So when you click on the, if you wait for some time, it will come to the So normal status, it will come to the normal status here. Why? Because during the starting time, data will be loaded. So it's a very high usage of the CPU and memory during the time here, right? You can see here, right? So system DB and the main tenant databases are here. You have the details here. So same way, same tabs you can find in the tenant system DB as well as the tenant DB also here, right? Landscape tab, it's a very important as part of the daily monitoring. You have to come to the landscape tab and see, are there any issues, are there any process which is running from, so which is recently restarted? So all are restarted in the recently only. The process ID, are there any CPU high spikes, memory high spikes? What is the memory utilizations, used memory? All the information you can see it here, right? So then alerts tab, you can see the open alerts. Are there any critical alerts in the system? Are there any critical alerts in the system? Here you can see the so critical alerts. So, so all the errors information will be displayed in the alerts tab here, right? It will be displayed. Then when it goes to the performance tab, performance tab. So performance tab is very important here. Performance tab is the very important tab. So why? Because in the performance, when you log into the database, it will, so in the performance tab, you see there are sessions tab. So here in the performance tab, we can find out the so performance about the our database, like how many sessions are opened, how many threads are occupied, what are the blocked transactions, what is the expensive statements, and SQL plan cache and jobs. So related details we can find in the the performance tab, right? So here we can find the sessions. Sessions means how many are logged into the system. So currently I logged into the system. That's why you see my session is active. My session is active and running status here. Then you can see the application name. Then what is the application user, right? So with me, there is a one more person also logged into the same HDB, Sai. So then, but we both connected to the same database user. Then what is the database user I am using? What is the client IP? So here we will get the clear information. Here we will get the clear information of the what's happening with the my database, who logged into the my database, what is the IP of the database, what is the process ID, so what is the current statement is doing in the system. So all the information, how many SQL statement, what is the average response time, number of SQL statements, number of the statements, all the information will be displayed in the sessions tab, right? Here whoever connected to the database, suppose if you connected, there is a one session will be allocated here. If I connected, there is a one session will be connected. But I connected, but I am not only doing the one work, I am doing the multiple works here. Then in this case, the multiple threads, each work there, the multiple threads will be assigned. Multiple threads will be assigned here. This is a refresh button. Okay, multiple threads will be assigned. Then you can see the what exactly I am doing here, right? With the basis ADM user, so system, I connected to the system user. Basis admin is the Windows OS level login. So I am currently doing the some select statement, something I am executing. So then the multiple threads are occupied for the my user, right? So then here we can find out what is the duration of the this request. See here, 27,000 milliseconds this session is active, which is the something queue pulling something, right? 77 milliseconds system is active here, right? Duration of the milliseconds here, right? So like this, we can find out the sessions which are running from longer time. Are there any blocked sessions in the system? What is the SQL plan cache? What is the plan cache means here? All the SQL statements will be stored in this cache, in this plan cache here. The frequently the used SQL statements will be saved into the in this cache here, right? Then are there any expensive statement trace? Are there any internal jobs are in progress that will be displayed in the performance tab? Basically, the performance tab is used to the performance tab is used to find the what happening with the my database and all the information we can find out in the performance tab. That is the main thing here. So the volume tab is like kind of a volumes, data volume, log volumes, and so that we can find out here, right? Data volumes, total size, used size, availability. So total used, total how much it is available, all the information we can see it here, all the information we can see it here, right? So that is the main. So value means your disk slash and a data slash and a log, how much is the data volume, log volume, how much is the free, how much is the used. So then what is the total, all the information we can see it in the so data volumes tab here, volume tab we can find out the information here, right? So that is the one thing here. Then configuration tab, right? Just only checking the free space at operating system level. So how much is occupied and all the information we can see it here, right? So then if you go to the configuration tab, so configuration tab is for changes of the database configurations. Database configuration changes here. Suppose I want to do some changes. Suppose example, if you see some parameter changes in SAP level, if you want to change the some parameters, where can we change the parameters?
RG10,
RG10,
RG11.
RG11, we will change the profile parameters, then we will restart the systems. Same as like in HANA also, if we want to do the some changes about the system configurations, some timeout parameter, some configurations you want to change it. This is the place in the configuration tab. So all the configuration files in the form of INA files. Access engine.ini, indexer.ini, global.ini, DP server. This is INI files. Global is for common for all. So this all default, same as like default profile, same as like global.ini. Then individual process related parameters are there here. This we can change it here, right? So, but the parameter changes, you cannot do it directly in the tenant databases via systemdb. You have to do it here. So systemdb is responsible for to manage the tenants. Managing means the parameter changes also is one of the part, right? So you cannot do it directly here. Manage, so you can use the this one. You can use the this configuration to perform the changes here, right? So that is the main important thing here, right? So then suppose example, you can see there is a total OS memory 32 GB. I want to change it to there is a OS memory 32 GB, right? So let me, if we go to the overview section, 32 GB, in that 28 is assigned to the HANA, but in that only around 9 GB, 8.55 GB is using, right? Total your RAM size is the 32 GB. In that 32 GB, 28 GB you allocated to the HANA. Then in that 28 GB already it is using the around 9 GB of data it is already using, right? So 8.55 GB exactly it is using here, means remaining everything is free. Sir, I don't want to assign the 28 GB. I want to restrict it here. Then configuration parameters you have to change it here. Some of the most configuration parameters are like, so memory parameters, global data and memory. So if you need to just expand the global data NA, so you can just go to the global data NA file. So here there are a lot of sub parameters are there. So just to go to the memory manager. Why? Because most frequently used one which we will memory manager. In the memory manager here you can see the so global allocation limit. So there is a limitation parameters 0. 0 means unlimited, it will use it. So but here what I will do, I will give only 20 GB. I want to assign to the, so 20 GB only. Previously 21 GB, 20 GB. I want to assign it here. Then configure the value. But you see changes are not allowed for the tenant database here, which means we cannot directly do the changes in the tenant database here. That's what the error message it's reflecting. So which means you need to do it from the tenant system DB, then global.ini, then memory manager, then global allocation limit. Suppose I want to assign to the 20 GB, then 2020 into 1024, then click on the save button. Then parameter changes which we have to perform from this one. So exception. Out of memory events. Oh my God, I assigned only 2 GB. Oh, 2 GB. We cannot assign by 20 GB. Okay, 20 GB. So now when you go to system now here, when you go to the system, so now 28 GB, 20 GB only we assigned, then just click on the refresh button. So then immediately the value will be affected here. Immediately the value has been affected. So which means HANA is using only 20 GB only. So 9.19.53 only here, right? 19.53 only it is using here. So which means, sir, how it got changed means the configuration you have done the changes. Configuration you have done the changes here. So based on that, sir, don't want to execute the. So these are the some recommended parameters from the SAP to changes. One is the global allocation limit, statement memory limit, then statement memory thresholds. These are the three important parameters here that will be in the global manager. Suppose if you don't know, sir, I don't know the navigation. So why? Because we cannot remember this. There are some many. So there is a tons of parameters are there. Then how can I remember this? All these parameters means you need to go to the filter. If you know something about suppose like statement, so like just filter it out, then statement related all the parameters will come into the picture, right? See, statement related all the parameters are available here. Sir, I know I need some to change the global, so then global allocation limit, then you can just change the global allocation limit here, right? So this way we can do the changes about the parameters and everything here. Sir, how can I know whether this parameter is required restart or not? Why? Because some specific parameters it's required to perform the restart. Some specific parameters it's required to do the restarts. Sir, how can I know here? There are lacks of tons of parameters are there. Then how can I know which parameters you have to do it here? Right? So there is a SAP standard note. There is a SAP standard note here. In the note, we can clearly, standard note means there is a help.com from SAP. So to perform the changes, to perform the SAP HANA parameter, the references here. So there is a help.com. If you put your parameter into that configuration parameters, so then that will tell you whether the restart is required or not. Let me show you that one. Yes. So here, what you have to do here, suppose there is a one parameter, right? Suppose like, global allocation limit. So global allocation limit, there is a parameter here. In this parameter, so this is the parameter, it is available in the memory manager here. If you see whether the restart is required true or false, so it will restart is required or not, it will give you the restart required true is there, definitely we need to do the restart. If it is the false, so then no need to do the restart. It will be affected immediately. It will be affected immediately here. So in this way, we can find out for this parameter, what are the parameters you are changing here, whether that is required restart or not. So I'm pasting in the chart window. So this is the one of the important blog, important saphelp.com. There we can find out the some information here, whether that is required or not. It will provide the information here. So suppose like if you don't know, then if you search the some parameters, then all the parameters will come here. So there we can check the what are the parameters, so timeout parameters, time minute. So all the information we can check it out here. So in this blog, it will clearly tell you which parameters you require the restart, which parameters you does not require the restart. This one that will let you know. But the changes of the system configuration values and everything, which we have to do it from the configuration tab. In the configuration tab, we have to perform the all kind of work here. All kind of work we have to perform it here, right? Using the system DB only, you need to do the changes immediately. This will be affected to the tenant also. Tenant also that will be affected. We can perform the tenant DB also. We can perform it there. Okay, so that is the one thing here. The next one, system information. So system information means some kind of predefined SQL statements. See here, now system is down. System is down here. Previously, wrongly we changed the parameter which got caused the system went down. Right? Which caused the system went down here. System down. Oi, what happened? Okay. So that memory restriction parameter, instead of 20 GB, we given the 2 GB. So it got restarted. So now let's go to see. See, someone uninstalled the HDB now. See, while I'm telling the class, it's done. HDB got uninstalled. That's why I will restrict the actually root user. So in this way, people won't perform any activities. While we are discussing here, someone done already uninstallation of the database. Yes, sir. SAP, nothing is there. Everything got uninstalled. That's what. Let me find out the. FES4 HANA 1. So IPADDR show. It will display the IP address.
Who installed Ravi?
Huh?
Who did this one? I mean, uninstallation.
I'm not sure. Right now, maybe someone did it and restarted, I guess. So while we are discussing the class and someone immediately they have done it. I'm not sure actually. That's why actually I will restrict the root user. I won't provide access to anyone. But our guys are only doing right. So that's why just I shared the root user password also. No, who done it? But let me try to do. So meanwhile, let me try to access. We'll do in the other database. So even Windows. Just the host is not accessible. If any connection issues, so we see this host is not accessible like that we are getting. In case password is wrong, it will say like password is wrong, but it's not the password wrong. So it's saying that connection cannot access the host 110. See, it went all are went to the not available status. See, cannot read, remote control is refused the connection. It's gone, everything is gone. Okay, let me open studio again. Can find out in this one of the person done the so uninstallation of something. So here see people are there. So SAP for you, you can use the login pad also. Otherwise, there is a business client. Okay. This is also one of the business client. Using the business client also, you can log into the SAP. So who are running the SAP? So means SAP batches. So just you can go with this business client also. It's a very good one actually. This is also. So what you can do, this will open the business workspace. So just simply open, it will open the here. Then means some of the customers they will use the this business workspace only. So then you can log in like this kind of new user interface. Same way how we log into the SAP GUI, similar way we can log into the our GUI also we can log in here. Here I think HANA is down here as well. You see, it's not connecting to the database. So that's the reason we have these issues. So let's see. Putty APS for HANA 1. ADM. So HANA processor up and running. And see HANA processor up and running. I think there is a restart of the tenant database. So 59% of CPU it is using. So which means so HANA will use a lot of memory here. So let me stop, then start it. Just doing the restart. Whenever any performance issues or anything, just you need to stop and start it. So meanwhile, so you can again do the reinstall of the HDB database on the KPS4 on a host someone. So install it, share the details in the group so that everybody will use the same details, so that I will also instruct all other users not to touch the don't not to uninstall the HDB database. Okay, so you can meanwhile you can do the someone will do the installation of the HANA database on here. So in our KPS for HANA. So meanwhile, let me try to bring up this one. See, stopping, see how much time it is taking. Why? Because while stopping the HANA database, it will unload the all the data. It will unload the all the data. So which means, so here in the 74 GB, you have the memory data is there. So now you just to stop it here, what will happen? Entire data got unloaded. So entire data got unloaded here. So still there is a some other process, maybe other SAP processor running. So that is the reason you see the some other things here, right? So that is the one thing here. So that is the reason HANA is a in memory mentality, which means it will occupy the lot of memory in the system, right? So then you can just start the database here. Start HDB start command. So or SAP control command, starting and stopping of the HANA databases, which you have to so check that one. So now see, so I'm trying to start the HANA database here. So when HANA database is stopped, when you are trying to connect it, it won't connect it. It won't connect it here. So it will say like connection refused, not available. So this kind of things it will show here, right? That is the main thing here. So I'll starting again, whatever the data unloaded here. So almost 60 GB, 60 GB got unloaded. Why? Because this is a S4 HANA application database. So which is all got unloaded here. So now again starting, all the data will be loaded here.
No, unloaded means it's going to be deleted or storing
No,
somewhere
it
there.
unloaded means it will unload the data from main memory to disk layer. Disk layer means slash HANA data. Data folder level, it will be unloaded.
Okay,
So
so the
now,
disk should be sufficient memory, right?
right.
If not, then what will happen?
So what if not?
No, if the disk is not having a sufficient memory, I mean, while
Sufficient
unloading.
space, disk level space. It's not
Yeah.
sufficient space. Even ANA, it won't stop. Then it keep on. Actually, first it won't stop. First of all, sufficient space.
Okay. So it will make sure the data is supposed to be unloaded first before stopping.
Yes. It will take it out automatically. It will unload the data. Paper place, it will unload the data. We no need to do anything here. So it will unload the data. So just unload it. Then maybe we can observe the logs, whether it's unloading or not. We can observe the logs that will tell us. So ps hyphen f grep hyphen I mcd adf. Okay. So SAP also down here. So now let me try to configure the same here. So to S4 HANA 100 system. Right now, see it is connected. So previously, due to some issues, it's not connected. Now it's connected here. Right. So now it is connected. So what about the SAP? SAP. Yeah, SAP also. So connected now. We have so SAP and SAP also connected from here. Right? So you have so configuration, so volumes, any database, so common procedure, any host, any database, you have the similar screens, similar procedure here, right? So system information. So system information tab is for so to check the any like system information related predefined SQL statements here. System information in your system, if you need some data, then you no need to write any SQL statements here. Here, SAP given the some SQL statements here to pull the some deep data from here. Suppose if you need the some blocked transactions list, right click and click on the execute, then it will show the blocked transactions list here. So then suppose if you need size of the they loaded database size, if you want to know the size means, then it will tell you the size of the tables and everything here, right? So this kind of reports, suppose if you need the size of the table on the disk, right? So what are the tables on the disk, what is the size of that one? See, there's a lot of size here, right? So like that we can find out the suppose used memory. So you can find out the information from here. You can find out the information, some reports from here. Then what you can do, you can save it as a text file or XML file or delimited text file. The output you can save it into the text file and you can send it to the your manager system information, right? So it will provide the information, your system related information will be displayed here. See, it is running and idle time, and just now we restarted. So all the client hosts which are connected to the here, so all the information we can see it from here, right? So that is the one thing here, system information, all the list of connections we can see, right? So diagnosis files means here, so diagnosis files, which means error log files here, error files here, diagnosis files. So which means here we can find out the, so errors, diagnosis means log files. Suppose name server having some issue, then you can open the name server. So then index server having some issue, then you can open the index server. So name server, tenant, daemon, web dispatcher, so access engine, compile server, so preprocessor. So each process related log files we can check it in this log file, in this diagnosis log files and everything here, right? This is the one of the segment. So memory, global memory allocation failures, memory allocation failure, out of memory occurred. Whenever the any memory is less, then out of memory will occur here. Out of memory things will happen here, right? So what caused the very high memory? In the error log file, we can find out the what causing the very high memory in the systems and everything here, right? So in that is called the diagnosis files. Diagnosis file means log files here. What happening with the my daemon process, that related log files we can see it here, right? So what happening with the my index server, what happening with the my name server. So then you can find out the name server log file history, all the information in the diagnosis files. So trace configuration means something we can, so suppose the existing logs are not enough to, these existing logs are not enough to troubleshoot the issues, then you can use the diagnosis files to, so you can go to the trace configure. By default, the default database trace will be on. So you want to configure the more, I need more logs here, then you can configure the user specific user related trace I want to configure. Suppose every day, so the Ravi user trace here. So Ravi database level, there is a Ravi user, application level also there is a Ravi user. So both are application level, the user is coming like Ravi, database level is connecting to the Ravi, then he is doing the something in the database level. I want to know what he is doing here, right? Then user trace, you configured it here, the respective trace will be created, means logs collection, collecting the more logs here. Your system performance is very bad, then you want to activate the traces, then go to the performance trace, then click on the start the tracing performance trace, it will take it. Expensive statement trace, long running SQL statement trace also we can find out. So end-to-end traces, plan cache trace, kernel traces, user specific traces, SQL trace. So collecting the more logs for troubleshooting purpose, we can use the trace configuration here. We can use the trace, collecting the more logs, we will use the trace configuration here, right? So diagnosis files means error log files here. Diagnosis files means error log files here. So here we can find out the this kind of traces here, right? So this kind of things will possible in the HANA Studio level here. These are the administration tasks to check the all the process are running or not. Are there any issues in the system? Are there any logs Suppose if a manager asked something, then you can collect the information, system information. So any issues, then we can collect the logs, we can delete the logs, diagnosis information. So you can collect the more logs here that we can perform it. Last day, last 2 days, last 3 days, last 6 days, that information we can collect it. Then trace configuration. Then now, but existing logs are not enough to troubleshoot it. Then using the trace configuration, we can find out the more information. So this kind of things possible in the HANA Studio level here, right? So these diagnosis files are very important to troubleshoot the issue. Something is not working in the daemon, name server, preprocessor, web dispatcher. So all the information, all the log files, we can see it here. All the log files, we can perform the configuration here. All the log files we can perform. Some log files are occupying. See, these log files are occupying so more space in the database level. See, so these all are the old log files here. These are not required. Then what you can do, you can delete the all the trace files, alert log file, delete all emergency traces, all the specific trace files, we can delete it from the system, right? So we can clean up, we can do the some cleanup of the systems and everything, we can perform it here. So that's what the traces will do here, right? So traces configurations, traces to collecting the more logs from the system level here, diagnosis files. If we want to collect more log, trace configuration, existing logs, then diagnosis files, right? So this way we can do the some administration part of the HANA databases here, administration part of the HANA database using the Studio. So it's not like that we have completed only small portion we completed here. Then we have to discuss about the how the data will be unloaded from the main memory to disk, right? That one we should know. Then which interval, which point of time, right? So then, so delta merge, save point interval, then backups, catalogs, the many things are there. So only Studio side, just you can practice for today. Then, so I can explain the tomorrow delta merge, save point, HANA licensing, HANA voice level file systems. Then, so all the information we have, so still lot of concepts are there. So that we will discuss. So please make it one database active always. Don't do the uninstallation. I will also inform to the other persons also, they won't do, so that you can make it one, everybody will connect to that database, then we can progress the all activities in that database. Okay.
Okay, I have one question, Ravi.
Yeah.
These log files, right? So whatever that not required, so we just remove, right?
Yeah,
Are those
old log files we can remove it.
are those log files or static? Is like incremental log files would be returning? If there is
Yeah,
any
static means each log file there is a times there is a size. Once that size is filled, then it will create the one more log file.
Okay.
The first one will be the underscore old, that is not required. Then the latest one will be created. So each log file, there is a specific size. So, or whenever you do the restart, it will create the new log file. Two occurrences. When you restart the HANA database, then it will create the new log file. So, and size, the limitation of the size, the specific log file size is over, then it will create the one more log file.
Okay. So
That's,
deleting doesn't affect anything, right?
yeah, nothing will affect.
Okay.